A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Chaye Sarah. It's amazing how the year is just marching on. We were just introduced to the Avos, and now, unfortunately, Sarah Imenu dies. Avraham Avinu's life is moving on. Yitzchak is going to get married. Nothing stays the same. Nothing stays stuck. It just keeps moving and moving. It's so much like life. There's a beautiful medrash at the beginning of the parasha that the medrash says that Rabbi Akiva was talking to his students. He was giving a shiur and they were falling asleep. Everybody, all the commentaries, all the common commentators on the parasha, they all point this out. This business with Rabbi Akiva, that his students fell asleep, and that this is a disease that's been happening to us for a very long time. That, somebody as great as Rabbi Akiva, it certainly gives me a little encouragement, but somebody as great as Rabbi Akiva gets up to speak and people are falling asleep. Because I think the disease is exactly the same. We'll talk about it a little bit in a moment. But Rabbi Akiva is looking at them and thinking, what am I going to do? I've got to say something that's going to wake them up. So he says to them that Sarah Imenu lived for 127 years. Esther, Hamalka, ruled over 127 provinces. Isn't that an interesting connection between the two? And he says to them, why did Esther merit to rule over 127 provinces? Because she was the descendant of Sarah Imenu. And just like Sarah Imenu lived for 127 years, so then Esther Hamalka was able to rule over her kingdom for 127 provinces. What's the connection? How's it going to wake them up? Change the subject matter, maybe a little bit. Interesting question, interesting connection. But what was the purpose of talking about that? Why make that connection between 127 and 127? It's a nice number. It's a good numerical connection. But what's the real connection between the two? So we know that Rashi tells us that the way that the years are written in the Torah, that she lived 120 and 7, and splits the years apart from each other. And Rashi says that Kulan Shavos L'Tova, that the set of years, things that she accomplished during those years, they were, when she was a 7-year-old, it was like a 20-year-old, like a 100-year-old, but Kulan Shavos L'Tova, they were all equal for goodness. What does that mean? They were Kulan Shavos L'Tova. Sarah's life certainly wasn't Kulan Shavos L'Tova. She lived through very difficult circumstances. She had a tremendous amount of pain. She lived for a long period of her existence was very painful. Watching this hugger be brought into the family and have her have a child with her husband, her beloved husband, and she was bereft of children. A tremendous pain. She was nomadic. She was following her husband all over the place. There had no stability in their lives, really. How could you say Kulan Shavos L'Tova, that they were all equal for good? And the truth is, you can ask the same question about Avraham Avinu. Because in the Parsha, after Sarah is buried, it says that Hashem berach es Avram bakol. God blessed Avram with everything. If you look at Avram's life, it wasn't everything. First of all, his wife died. At that point, it says Hashem berach es Avram bakol. He was missing his wife. His child, 37-year-old son, wasn't married yet. He had gone through the trauma of an Akedah. He also lived a very difficult life. So what does it mean, Hashem berach es Avram bakol? It doesn't look like he blessed him with everything at all. Because perhaps we need to understand Hashem berach es Avram bakol means that Hashem blessed Avram Avinu with the ability to be able to see kol, to be able to see everything, to see the big picture. Not to get stuck in the little details, not to get stuck and to micromanage every moment, but to look begadol, to look at the big thing. Bakol, to see everything. And it's something that we actually pine away for. We ask that Hashem should bless us. Bakol mikol kol. It was something that Avraham Avinu was able to pass on to his children. He was able to pass on to his grandchildren. And it was something that was so profound by him that Yishmael and the enemies of the Jewish people were actually wanted to get their hands in it. By Yishmael, it describes him as a Yodai Bakol, that his hand was in everything, but Yodai Bakol, his hand was trying to mess up Avraham Avinu's ability to be able to see the big picture. And that's why Sarah Imenu, we say that Kulan Shavos L'Tova, they were all equal for good. Because she had the ability also to look at her entire life as one whole package. There were parts of it. There was a 7-year-old, or 20 years old, there was 100 years old, there were attainments, there were things that she did, but she didn't look and micromanage all those little things, but she saw the larger picture. She saw the larger life. She too was blessed, Bakol, with this ability to be able to see everything. And when she had that ability to be able to see everything, so then every single day, every single moment was valuable and important. Every single thing that she did, every single experience that she had, she knew that was part of the big picture. And therefore, everything that went on in her life was l'taiva, was good. And as long as she was able to see that, she was able to find the energy to be able to push and to be able to accomplish and to do, because she knew that everything was critical and everything was important. Rabbi Akiva turns to his students and he said, what did Esther do to merit being able to rule over 127 provinces? That's a lot of tsaras. That's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of difficulties. Where did she find the strength and ability to be able to do that? From Sarah Imenu. Because just like Sarah Imenu had the strength to be able to look and to see big picture, and that gave her the fuel, the energy to be able to accomplish, that's exactly what Esther Malka had. Esther Malka also had that great ability because she was able to look and see big picture. She needed a little help. At some point, Mordechai had to kick her a little bit, had to push her a little bit, make her look big picture and not see the small ramifications of what was going to happen, which were huge, but they were just ramifications. They weren't big picture. And once she saw the big picture, she had the energy to be able to do and be Meiser Nefesh and to accomplish whatever she needed to accomplish. And that's why Rabbi Akiva chose this to wake his students up. Because if you could fall asleep during a lecture of Torah, if you could fall asleep when you're being fed real life, so that means you're not looking big picture. Right now I'm tired. Right now, this is not so interesting to me. But if you look big picture, this is another piece of Torah, is another piece of Kedusha, another piece of God that's being put inside of you. If you look at big picture, this is a valuable, incredible moment. How could you sleep? Rabbi Akiva wanted them to grab onto life. He wasn't upset that they were falling asleep on him. He was upset that they didn't see the value of this moment. And that's the message and the lesson that Rabbi Akiva was trying to teach. Where did Esther get this ability to be able to push herself so hard and to accomplish so much? She got it from Sarah Imenu. And where did they get it from? They got it from the ability to be able to see big picture. And when you can see big picture, and you can see that everything, Kulon Shavas Lataiva, everything that's happening is amazingly critical and important. So then you have the strength not to waste any minute, not to waste any moment, not to waste any experience. We should be zeicha to get to that place. That we recognize, how can I waste this moment? How can I let this moment go? This moment's never coming back. Hashem berech Avram bakol. He gave Sarah that ability also. And let's take that legacy, that bracha that they gave us, and let's use that bracha. Use that bracha to be able to make our lives so incredibly productive and so incredibly blessed. We should have an amazing, beautiful, awesome, wonderful Shabbos. Shabbos, everyone.